Hello, everyone. We are back with the Vegas Knows podcast. Myself, Marc Givler, and Bill Greene with me, as always. We are reviving the Vegas Knows podcast. It's been on hiatus for a few weeks. Not a lot of sports going on. We wanted to fire that up a few weeks ago and just kind of get it rolling. And now that football is back, we are ready to kind of bring you a weekly look inside the odds and kind of have some fun with this and talk picks each week. And so that's what we're going to do here now that we have a full NFL slate this weekend, as well as a partial college football slate, which hopefully will continue to grow here in the next few weeks. Let's get right into it, Bill. Let's go with the college picks first. What are some of your plays this weekend, and what are you looking at on the sheet?
Yeah, I got to say that I don't know, approaching this betting probably a half of what I normally do or a third of what I normally do. This is a weird year. And until I see these teams play in college and pros, I'm going to tread really, really lightly. Got off to a great start on Labor Day. I had Navy, and they lost 742-0 to BYU. And, here's a good example. I make that pick thinking that Navy will be the team that's in better shape. These are the guys that are going to fight for our country. They're the baddest, toughest, meanest, nastiest dudes around. I saw what Army did over the weekend when they rolled Middle Tennessee State, so I'm feeling really good about my service academy. And then the game starts, and the announcers are talking about how the Navy coach did not hit at all, nothing in practice, fearing, COVID. And I'm like, these guys are fearing COVID. They fight wars, they kill people. What are we doing here? And they got rolled. So there's a case where what you think is happening is nowhere near what happened. And I paid the price. So 0-1 to start the year. I've got 3 picks this week. I can't say that I've got a lot of conviction on any of them, but I'm going back to the well with my service academy. I loved what I saw out of Army the other day. They step up in class this week to play Louisiana Monroe, and they're favored by 20.5 points. If people follow me, they know I'm a dog player. Man, I take the points all the time. I never take favorites, and here I am going to put out 3 favorites this week and 3 big favorites, which is something I never do. But I loved what I saw at Army, and they have a game under their belt. Monroe does not. So I'm going to lay the 20.5 with Army against Louisiana Monroe. Again, something I normally don't do. And I'm going to follow that up with another one. I hated what I saw last year out of Duke. That was not Duke football. And they lost a lot of guys off that team. They weren't very good. They've got the transfer from Clemson now at quarterback, and I don't like them at all. I think Notre Dame is loaded. I love Ian Book. I like their defense. The O-line is always big time. They have playmakers on the outside. I think Notre Dame is going to demolish this team again. 20.5 again. Something, and I don't think I laid 20.5 last year all year, unless it would have been with maybe Ohio State or Clemson or Bama. But I'm taking Notre Dame over Duke, laying the 20.5. And again, Notre Dame is really one of my favorite teams this year. I think they can win the ACC. I think they're good enough to get to the playoffs this year. So I'm riding them right off the jump there. And then my final pick is going to be Mac Brown and that North Carolina group of his. They finished the year last year. I mean, they were scoring 40, 50 every game. And Sam Howell is tremendous. And I never thought he was going to be tremendous. I didn't like him coming out of high school, but he has been really special. And that D-line is loaded. And they're playing Syracuse. And Syracuse has had so much trouble in the offseason with COVID positives. And they were not very good last year. And I don't think they're going to be very good this year. So there we are again, laying 23 with North Carolina here. So I've got 3 picks, all of them laying over 20 points, something I probably haven't done since I was 12 years old, bet these kind of favorites like this. But those are my 3 for this week. And again, I am going so small on this stuff until I can kind of get a feel for how this new COVID era we're in is going to affect football, both at college and pro. So Army, North Carolina, and Notre Dame for me. 3 picks.
Well, I'm glad one of us isn't a coward because I am really struggling this week with games I like. And I don't like to play a ton of games. I like to kind of have my 2 or 3 and go with those. I am looking at these lines. I've been looking at them all day, and I'm just not comfortable with a lot of them. There's a small play out there I think I'll make, which is I've got Iowa State minus 11.5 at home against Louisiana Lafayette. I like what Iowa State's got coming back. I think they're extraordinarily well coached. I think they're a dark horse team in the Big 12. And that's one I could see, I can see them winning that game by 2 touchdowns, maybe 17 points, which obviously would be a cover. And so that's, if I had to throw some change out here this weekend, that's kind of the one I like. Now, full disclosure here, I did hit Miami minus 16, kind of a nail biter against UAB. So I am 1-0. It was a very, very small play. And, Bill and I were kind of sitting here as we got ready to record this. I was sweating it out as we were getting ready to start recording this. Miami was running the clock out. So I did squeeze that one out. But I do not really like Saturday's card at all. And like I said, Iowa State minus 11.5. That's as good of a pick as any, I think. I think I like your Notre Dame pick. What do you think there? I'm over under 54 in the Notre Dame Duke game. Could Notre Dame score 54 on their own? And would they need to, I guess, is the question. I mean, what do you see there? I think the over-unders are fascinating right now because we're throwing these teams into some weird games that normally you'd have some tune-ups for, and they haven't probably as many practices and pads as you normally have. So over-unders might be a scary thing right now. But do you have a preference there in that Notre Dame Duke game with the 54 over-under?
Well, I thought that number was right on the money, and I do like playing totals occasionally, and I thought that one was right where it should be in like a 41-14 game or something, so I really don't on that one. I didn't really like any of the totals, and again, I'm just so unsure until I want to see these guys play. So before I step out on any limb on anything, but I thought that 54 total was probably right on the money, probably right where it should be. I think Notre Dame's going to get their 40, and I think Duke is going to struggle to get anywhere near 20. So I thought that was right on the money.
Yeah, I may trail you on the Notre Dame pick. I got about a day and a half to think about that, so I will keep that one in mind. But I really just don't love this card this week. Man, a lot of big lines, a lot of mismatches, and it's Clemson, Wake Forest is but it's 33.5. How sharp is Clemson going to be? How much are they going to really care if they jump out to 28-0 or 21-0? How much are they really going to care the rest of the way? There's just some weird ones this week that I think I'm going to kind of sit back and get the lay of the land, make my Iowa State play and look at maybe the Notre Dame game. But
yeah. Last year it was interesting with Clemson because Dabo was really feeling slighted, and I think he was feeling the heat that people were talking about how horrible the ACC is and that they might not get in. After that close game they had with Carolina, people were talking about them not getting in, even if they were on the table. And he just annihilated people last year. And he covered those spreads. A lot of them got covered in the last 4 minutes when he could have been running the ball up the middle. And he wasn't. So he really pushed scoring last year. And he put some on the board late on people last year that people weren't too happy about. But I think he felt he needed to do that. I think he felt he was in pretty bad shape with the committee. Now, will he feel that way this year? That's the thing. We just don't know.
I would think not. I mean, unless the Big Ten
I think he's in great
announced
shape.
They're coming back. I mean, that's 2 conferences eliminated.
Right. Yeah, that's
now it's like
I don't think he's going to have that same – I think he's going to be more in protect his starter mode than he's going to be in I need to kill people right now or I'm not going to get in. So I would be real careful with laying points with Clemson. And, when it's 78-3 in the third quarter, then you can think, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I did see that last year that he really pushed scoring in the last 4 or 5 minutes of some games where he did not need those points to win the game, but he felt he needed them with the committee. So I don't think he's going to feel that way this year.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the NFL. But before we get into this too much, another kind of quick sidebar here. As we started getting ready to record this, we're going to run this on Friday morning. If you're listening now, this is the Friday show, but we're recording this late here on Thursday night just to kind of get everything in the can for you guys for Friday morning. And we didn't even know this about each other until we started chatting before we started recording, but we both took the over in the Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans NFL opener on Thursday night. And Bill got 53 and I got 54. And we were sitting here talking and recording. And as we were getting ready to start this podcast, all of a sudden, the Texans went on a crazy late game run and threw a couple garbage time touchdowns in there. And then a late field goal by the Chiefs, who we were worried were going to kneel on the ball on the goal line and turn it over on downs with like 30 seconds left. Instead, settled for a chip shot field goal, which gave Bill the backdoor over cover and gave myself the backdoor push. So we are very happy with our NFL start right now because we were staring down 0-1, and we got pretty lucky there. I think that does that. I don't know if it qualifies fully for one of those SVP bad beats, but it's close. You'd be feeling pretty sick if you lost that bet tonight. I think.
I guarantee Stanford Steve and Van Pelt are going to have that as a bad beat. If you had bet the under tonight, you got to be sick. They scored 23 points in the fourth quarter. And, you got to be sick at your stomach on that one, but I'll take it. So 1-0 in the NFL, and NFL is normally not kind to me. NFL, if I can go 500 in the NFL, it's kind of like, here's my money, show me a good time, just don't take it all. I've had 4 straight winning years in the college. Every play has been posted either on scout.com or on Bucknuts. So, not making it up. College is kind of my thing. NFL, usually not, but, hey, we'll take that as a win, and on we go until this Sunday. So I'm excited for the NFL to get back and play, and I've got 3 plays for the NFL this week. I don't know. What have you got in the NFL this week for Sunday?
Yeah, so I've got 2 that I love, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, if I'm a complete idiot here, maybe this is a good thing. The lines I've locked in are probably different than what everyone else is going to be able to get by Friday. If you haven't put your picks in, I'm not sure. They're continually moving the other direction. So I will go with the first one that I've loved for a long time, and I finally got the pick in on Wednesday because the line kept dropping and I couldn't take it anymore. And I was like, I need to get this in before it continues to drop, and it has even since I got my pick in. I have the Browns +8 at Baltimore.
Wow.
I'm agnostic on the Browns. I'm not a fan. I'm not against them. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I think most people know that at this point. But and I'm still a Browns skeptic in the general sense that I don't know that this team's really a Super Bowl contender or even really a playoff team yet. But I just think that's a lot. Yeah, man, 8 points in a pretty big rivalry game. There's been no preseason, so I think everyone's going to be a little rusty. I think the Browns do have a lot to prove. They got taken down a couple pegs last year after all the preseason hype. I think the Ravens, I'm not sure, is their defense going to be as good as it was last year? Our teams going to figure out the Lamar Jackson thing a little bit? I don't know. I think the Browns have the pieces to kind of contain him. And it's a prove-it year for that Browns offense. If they're going to show up for one game this year, you would think it would be the season opener against a division rival. So I like the Browns +8 there. I think it was like 9.5 at one point, and I'm like, oh, that's my play. And then it went to 9, and then 8.5, and then 8, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this pick in. So I got the pick in. Again, I think it was like Wednesday morning. So that's my first one. Bill, is that one on your card, or do you have one you want to talk about?
Yeah, and absolutely. We did not talk about our picks prior to the show here. We're kind of flying. I don't know what you're taking. You don't know what I'm taking. The Browns are my best pick of the weekend. That is my top pick.
That's really good or really bad for everyone.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think, I don't buy the Ravens. I think the Ravens caught everybody surprised last year with that offense. The defense, I don't think will be as good. I'm a Steeler fan, which everybody knows, full disclosure. And I have the Browns winning that division this year. I think they had the big build-up last year. They had a head coach that has no business being a head coach. And predictably, they failed everybody last year. And I think they've got weapons on offense. I think they're really good on defense. I like the O-line, what they've done there. I like the guy they hired who's going to bring that Kirk Cousins Minnesota offense to Cleveland. That's what Baker Mayfield needs to be in. 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, whatever. I think that's Baker's in the right system right now. And I think he's going to be really good this year. And Cleveland's my top pick this weekend. So I'm taking Cleveland. I didn't get 8 like you did. I got 7. I'm looking right now at Bet Online.
That's what it is now. That's what it is right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So I'm going to get 7, but I'm going to take that 7 too. And again, that will be my top pick of the whole weekend. Well, Notre Dame in college, top pick. Cleveland, top pick in the NFL. So I'm with you on that one. And who knows if we know what we're talking about. But I think the Ravens are crashing this year. If I was going to make a season wager on win totals, which I'm not doing any of those because games can be canceled by COVID and all that. But I do not. I think the Ravens will be the most disappointing team in the NFL this year. So taking the Browns, I'm with you on that one.
And my second pick here, and again, this is I guess it's moving the right direction. If I like if you already have your money in, it's moving probably the way you want to see it move, but it's not if you're, as someone who's, throwing this out there for other people to maybe take a look at, you may not be getting the same line. Again, full disclosure, I'm an Eagles fan. I think I got the Redskins +6. I got that pick in the same time as the Browns pick because I saw that continue to dissipate. I mean, I think it was 7 at one point. It was definitely 6.5, and then it was down to 6. And so I got it in at 6. It's 5.5 now I'm seeing. So I don't know. I don't know what everyone's going to get on Friday or Saturday leading into this game. But I got the Redskins +6 at home against the Eagles. The Eagles did get some good news on Thursday in terms of some injured guys that people were kind of on the fence if they were going to play or not. Looks like they're going to play. Looks like Lane Johnson's going to play. Looks like Miles Sanders is going to play. Even Jalen Reagor might play, the first-round rookie receiver. But their offensive line's a mess. Left tackle was going to be a concern anyway. And then the young guy, Andre Dillard, their first-round pick from 2 years ago, tears his biceps. He's out for the year. 85-year-old Jason Peters is going to move from right guard back out to left tackle. They finally have paid him more money to do that, and he hasn't been working at left tackle at all until I believe the last day or two. And even when he was playing left tackle last year, he's kind of a shell of his former self, and half the games he's been playing the last 2 years, he hasn't been finishing. So there's always a chance he could not even finish the game. And then who on earth is protecting Carson Wentz's blind side? Brandon Brooks, they're all pro right guards, got some issues. He's out. He's still coming back from a significant injury. They've got a lot of problems, I think. And I still don't know how good their defense actually is. I think they have a lack of pass rushers. And we still don't know if their secondary is going to be any good. They made some good moves there in the offseason. Darius Slay was a big move for them, but I don't know. I think this Eagles team, which I'm not super, super high on, is, regardless of whether I'm wrong about them or right about them in terms of what they're going to be this year, I think regardless of what they actually will be, that we're going to see whatever they are, we're going to see a better version of that in 5 or 6 weeks than what we're going to see week one. I think that's a team that probably needed some preseason games. It's a team that still has guys in and out of the lineup. And I think that Washington got to call them the football team now. I think that Washington football team defensive line is going to be outstanding. I think Washington's defensive line, and maybe I would even just kind of parlay this out to their entire defense. I think Washington's defense reminds me about of where San Francisco was about 2 years ago, where you could see it coming a little bit, and they had all these young pieces, and it was just a matter of another year of maturity, and then they threw in a Nick Bosa. That's how I see Washington. They've got a lot of really good young players in that front seven. And these games are always weird. They're always weird, these NFC East games. So I think Washington +6 is probably my second favorite play of the week in the NFL. I will turn it over to Bill for his second.
Well, I wouldn't bet the Redskins with counterfeit money against anyone.
Maybe so. I could be a paranoid Eagles fan here. It's possible.
I do like Ron Rivera a lot, and I think he's going to bring a lot to that team in terms of discipline that they didn't have last year under Jay Gruden. That was a mess, and I don't think they're going to be a mess in terms of discipline and schematics. So, when I look at that game, I just think it's going to be the first team to 17 is probably going to win that game. And it could be a 17-14 final. So it wouldn't shock me if Washington won the game. I mean, I think it's going to be an ugly slugfest, low scoring. So, yeah, I'm not arguing with it, but I'll never bet Washington. So I need to see something with my own eyes. I saw enough of them last year. They were garbage. So, yeah, root for you on that one, not risking with you. I
will take Philly 17, Washington 14 right now. Eagles win, and I will sign up for that. Sign me up right now.
Yeah. Well, my second pick, I'm going with Seattle. And I know they're traveling east. They're a West Coast team traveling east. That theory has kind of gone up in flames the past couple of years anyway. Plus, I think it's going to be a close game. The line is 2.5 with Seattle favored. Atlanta loses all the close games they play. Seattle wins all the close games they play. It's the difference between Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan. And I think it's simple. I think Seattle will probably be behind at the half. And Atlanta could be leading all the way into the third quarter. And then Russell Wilson's going to lead 2 drives in the fourth quarter. Could go to overtime. Seattle could a field goal and beat them. I just think Russell wins these games. Atlanta always loses these games, and I don't care if they're at home. I wouldn't care if they were at home with fans, let alone without fans. So Seattle's this is strictly Russell Wilson versus Matt Ryan for me. And I think Seattle, I really like that team. I think they're going to do more this year offensively. I think they're going to turn Russell loose more. They played so many games last year where they run the ball up the middle for 3 quarters, fall behind, and then in the fourth quarter, they tell Russell to go win the game for him, and he does. Well, let him play like that from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, and I don't think you're going to be in so many close games. So Seattle minus the 2.5 is my second pick here.
Yeah, and I actually I'm not playing that one, but I do like that. That's one I would definitely, if I had to branch out and make a 4th or a 5th pick or something like that, that'd be on my radar. So I think that's a solid pick. Atlanta is one of those teams over the years that they're hard to read. The years you think they're going to be pretty good, they end up being a huge disappointment. And then the years you're like, okay, I've fallen for this before. They're not going to be very good this year. They go to the Super Bowl. It's just it's a weird franchise for me. So I think I don't think taking Russell Wilson and laying 2.5s or giving 2.5s never a bad move. I'm actually going similar philosophy. I am taking the Raiders -3 at the Carolina Panthers. I think the Raiders are going to be a pretty good team this year. I like their offense. I like their weapons. I like their running game. I think the defense will be better. They've had a lot of draft capital. I think you'll start to see a younger, faster team. But mostly, I think Carolina is going to be terrible this year. I think they ran Christian McCaffrey into the ground last year. As someone who owned Christian McCaffrey in fantasy football, it was kind of bittersweet watching them, way out of the playoffs, way out of games, still giving him the ball 40 times every Sunday as they, erode the back end of his career in meaningless football games last year. That was very interesting for me to watch. I don't particularly like their weapons outside of McCaffrey. I think their defense has been gradually on the decline over the last few years. I don't know that that's going to be any better. And I think the Raiders are going to make an early season statement and go on the road and beat the Panthers. That's one of my favorite plays of the week. And so that's, again, it's probably mostly a play on just, I think Carolina is a bottom couple team in the NFL this year. That's my stance on that. And maybe I'll look foolish, but just don't see them being anywhere near a playoff contender this year.
For my third, I'm assuming you're sitting down, and maybe the folks listening to these podcasts could probably use some humor. And I'm taking the Miami Dolphins +6.5. They're going to be on the road at New England. Miami always plays New England tough. New England rarely comes out of the blocks quickly. I'm not buying the Cam Newton is a fit. Belichick is the greatest of all time. I get all that. They've had too many opt-outs on defense. They have no speed on the outside, no weapons on the outside. I don't know that they're going to be able to run the ball. I believe in Fitzmagic in Miami. That team last year, they could have given Brian Flores Coach of the Year last year as far as I'm concerned. That team lost their first 2 games. It was like 100-0. And ownership wanted them to lose.
They were tanking.
They were tanking, and they were still winning as they were tanking because Brian Flores would not let them lose. They were so well coached, and they played so hard, and they weren't supposed to do either of those things. And I'm sure ownership was probably ripping their hair out. They have to be so happy that they have such a great coach in Brian Flores, who I think is amazing, came from New England, but yet they probably wanted to lose those games. And that team played so hard. I like Fitzpatrick a lot. I think, are they going to win this game? Probably not. But I could see him getting that touchdown with 3 minutes to go when he leads them on a drive and hits Devontae Parker in the corner of the end zone to cut that lead to 4 or something. But I'm taking Miami in this game. I will not be shocked if Miami beats New England. And I definitely think they're going to hang in with them. They play them tight all the time. So early in the year, not worried about Miami playing in New England in 15-degree weather. That's not going to happen. And I think Miami can win. I think they're going to stay within the 6.5. So that's my third pick. And I'm shocked that I couldn't find a better team than Miami to take for my third, but I really believe in them and how hard they play and how well coached they are. And I think Fitzmagic is going to get me one in the end that's going to cover that spread.
Well, that is a gutsy pick, although I do think I do think New England, I don't know. I don't know if this is your older brother's New England Patriots this year. I know that's like insane to say that, but I don't know. I don't know how good they're going to be this year. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs or anything like that. I just don't know that this is the juggernaut we've seen over the years. And I think there's almost some of that baked into the cake here of maybe expecting money on the, I think people immediately see Patriots at home -6.5 against the Dolphins. I think people are immediately rushing to the cashier's window to place a bet on the Patriots. It's almost a little fishy to me, and which would indicate maybe Miami is the play.
Hey, I'm going down with that ship. I know that, or I'm going to win with that ship either way. But I'm pretty strong in my conviction there that I think it sets up well for Miami. I'm not going to be shocked if they win that game.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also not going to be shocked if they could beat 49-3 too, and Cam Newton goes berserk. But I just don't think so. I don't think Cam's a fit in that offense. That offense is precision passing, accuracy, timing, hit the slots, hit the tight end. That's not Cam.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, I've been wrong before, but those are my three. I'm taking the Browns, Seattle, and Miami, and I'm living with it.
Yep. And I got the the Browns, Washington football team, and the Raiders this week. And I will sneak in there, though, as I'm looking at this Miami-New England game, that over-under, 42, I'm kind of liking the under in that. I may have to sneak one of those in there before Sunday afternoon. I may have to sneak in a little play on the under, 42. Patriots.
Yeah, I didn't have much of a feeling on that. I kind of wanted to see Cam in action first before I didn't know. None of those totals really stood out to me. No preseason. I don't know what we're going to see here. So, like I say, I didn't really like any totals, but I'm riding with my three, and we'll go from there. And I think as we do this every week, I mean, I think it's going to be fun, and I really want to get a guest guy on, have a threesome on this thing, every week starting forward. I think we can get Alex. I know Alex is a player. We got a guy on the site, Patty O'Harold. I mean, he's a legend picker, and I think I think it's going to be a good feature every week. I know I enjoy it. I know you do too. We've been to Vegas together before and had a blast on 2 occasions. So anyway, I mean, I think this is a great feature, and I'm looking forward to it all year.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how this evolves. And again, I think we're a little behind the 8 ball right now without the preseason NFL, without really getting the normal looks we would be getting at some of these guys. And I just think we're all kind of stumbling around in the dark right now, trying to find the light switch when it comes to some of these games. But yeah, I think week 2, week 3, week 4, I think each week we'll get a little more comfortable with our picks, probably a little more arrogant in our convictions and things like that, which I'm sure will set up for plenty of disasters as well. But just kind of I'm trying to find my footing right now. I didn't like the college card this weekend. The NFL card, I really like the Browns. I kind of like Washington and the Raiders, but really the Browns, I think, was the only one that I've loved this weekend across all of football. So hopefully, we start to find our footing here a little bit. But yep, looking forward to having more people on, some guests, do some guest picking, and kind of take this wherever you guys want to go with it. So, but we'll wrap this up. We probably went about the max as we want to go at this point on something like this. We want this to kind of be fairly quick and light. So, good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.